And here we are.
Hey,
Welcome back, Greg.
welcome back.
Hey, this is Healthier Ever After. We've been kind of feels like a little hiatus. You know, we actually recorded a couple of episodes. We've been on this hormone trip.
Yeah.
For about a month, a little more than a month.
Yeah, just talking about hormones. It's something that we just get asked about a lot.
Yeah. And then it's actually been a couple of weeks since we sat down in studio and kind of recorded some of the stuff. Yeah. We have. I've been saddened this last weekend. The Argentina national team did not win the World Cup championship.
Yeah. And I thought you were going to go a different direction with that, of why you were saddened, actually.
No, there's no reason to be saddened other than that. No, I lived in Argentina for a couple of years back in the late 80s when they were the defending world champion again with Maradona. And so they kind of been hanging out in my heart for a while. So it's been a good 4 years. It was a good run. That Spain team was amazing.
Yeah. It's hard to argue. It's interesting how you forget how, especially once it's in the US, how politically charged the World Cup can get. It's just so, I mean, the refs had it in for a certain team, or everyone, they wanted Messi to make the
easy now.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just out of control. I don't know. Refs. This is probably the first World Cup that I've watched that I mean, out of all the sports in soccer, the refs are really the most influential outside thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because it's so subjective.
It feels like it sometimes. Well, we're going to talk about some subjective things maybe today. Yeah. I'm super excited to be back here and talking about some of this. I think we're going to start, and we may end up going 1 or 2 episodes on just this. We want to talk about some myths. Like we did talk about some GLP-1, kind of what people believe about it and things, but this is just basic dieting myths. Feels like it's back to bread and butter stuff.
Yeah.
For us, and maybe it's just because I think I jotted some things down that we're going to talk about, but I think it's because so many people ask about these exact things. Like it's just so common.
I think the truth is that in this day and age with wellness and the stuff that me and Rick deal with, even in the ER, right? Like everyone has AI and access to Google and all that stuff, and so. The advantage of the information age is that there's lots of information out there. The disadvantage is that there's a ton of bad information out there. Yeah. So we really are always constantly, half of our work in this wellness industry, and really even in the ER, is actually taking the information that's out there and actually giving it context.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Giving it context, and then also like what is accurate and what isn't. And there's a lot of nuance. You'll find it with even some of these myths. Like, yes, we can say like objectively, this is what the studies show.
But there are a couple little things that make it why people would believe it's true.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into that. We're going to just try to have this as almost like a more of a discussion format with the science that's there, with some of the studies that are surrounding these things and why people would believe what they believe, and hopefully give you some context so that you can kind of guide yourself in like, oh, maybe that isn't as important as I thought it was, or maybe it's more important than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And why?
Great. So as we talk about this, remember, this is for educational and informational purposes only. And anything, we recommend you talk to your medical provider before you start any kind of a weight loss program, dietary supplement, exercise regimen, or anything else regarding your health.
Yeah. And we didn't really introduce ourselves at the beginning, so maybe we assume that you've been watching for a while. I'm Greg Camp. I'm a nurse practitioner. I work in the ER as well as run my own weight loss and wellness business. And then, of course, Rick is a doctor or MD that also works in the ER.
And Greg also does there, and I work for him in the clinic.
So yeah, we just really have a passion for this stuff, and our whole goal here is to kind of keep you out of our other job. Just trying to. No one wants to.
We don't even have a cough button on our.
I know. Like, where is it?
Some better technology. No, it's interesting to say that. We work in an emergency department, and it's interesting to see how much of what we see in the emergency department really is the end result of choice after choice after choice for years.
Absolutely. I mean, like
sometimes it's sad. The big thing that I think of all the time is the COPD patients. They've been smoking for years and years. And they come in, they just literally can't breathe. And I can't make you much better. Yeah. And I feel really bad because I want to say this is the day that people have been talking to you about.
Yeah. You made this decision 30 years ago, and it's so difficult to, so hopefully now this is like the step forward. You're listening to this, and whatever it is, it doesn't have to be smoking, whatever it is in your life that you're trying to want to rectify, to correct, to get a little bit better at. This decision may not affect you tomorrow or the next day, but it may affect you 30, 40 years from now.
And that's really what I think our focus is here is when we talk about healthier ever after and incremental, sustainable lifestyle choices. We're trying to deposit time and useful, healthy, good feeling time in this bank that you then at the end of your life can withdraw. Yeah. Right. Like this really is about increasing your longevity and increasing the how good you feel for the rest of your life. And there's a lot of change that can be made. Yeah, with just some simple things.
And I think really it's truly not always about quantity, right? Sometimes it's just about quality. So, I mean, really your later years in life, like hopefully this, if it doesn't add even one more year to your life, hopefully the quality of your life is improved later on in your later years. You know, why start feeling horrible when you're 50 or 60? Why not, if you could feel good when you're in your 50s and 60s, why wouldn't you take that opportunity? Because you can't turn the back the clocks at what is it?
You're having a hard time today with like getting words out.
Am I having a stroke? Good thing I have an ER provider here with me. You really can't turn back the hands of time, and you know, you can't, when you're 80, it's not the time to start being like, well, I need to get on this, right? It's now.
But then again, we'll talk about this, I think, maybe on another episode on strength training, but when you're 80, there still is some benefit to make some changes. So whatever your age, let's talk about these myths. These are things that we want to talk a little bit today about, things that everybody knows about weight loss, right? And honestly, a lot of times there's just some oversimplifications or just stuff that's flat wrong. And so we want to kind of keep to the idea that weight loss or weight change, I guess, is governed by total energy balance over a long period of time. And I think most of these myths are people just not judging correctly. They're misjudging calories in, calories out, and how fast the body adapts to things. So let's start with myth 1. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Eating late at night makes you gain weight.
You've heard us talk about it before.
Like, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of eating at night. Like, this is one that's hard for me because I'm like, well, like, yeah, I can see how you can believe that. But the truth of the matter is the timing, your fat cells don't have a clock.
Yep.
And it really is, I mean, there's good data, good studies that show that weight loss, total weight loss tracks kind of total daily intake, not the timing of it.
Sure.
But what's the problem with nighttime eating?
Well, that's just it. And so we're going to say that, hey, we've busted this myth, right? The myth is that, you know, eating late at night makes you fat. That's not true.
Technically,
right? If we kind of, when we were talking about this prior to starting to record, you know, the truth is that if you take one person that eats 1,500 calories in a day and another person that eats 1,500, the one eats it all throughout the day and the other one eats it only in this narrow window of 6 to 8 hours and only during the middle of the day. The argument and what the studies really support is that those two people will have similar weight loss, as opposed to what the myth is that eating late at night, you know, the person that eat the same amount of calories eating that late at night is going to cause them to either lose weight more slowly or gain weight.
The problem is it's not the same amount of calories.
The problem is, and that's where we differ on this in terms of the myth is maybe true on its face. The truth is that if you eat, and this is what I usually say in clinic, if I start eating when I wake up and I don't stop eating until I go to bed, do you really think that all throughout that 16-hour period, I'm going to be able to be at a calorie goal, at my calorie goal? If that's 1,600 calories, I mean, it's not easy. It's not hard to get to 1,600 calories or 18 or whatever you're talking about. I mean, it's like, we're talking like one health, I'll say one like really good sandwich. I mean, you're already at 800 to 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just eaten.
I don't know what your really good sandwich is, but I can think of a really good sandwich that's like 1,400.
Well, I mean, I'm being conservative, right?
Like a really good sandwich that you're still paying attention to not fill it with.
Yeah. So the truth is that me and Rick agree on this. Because we see it anecdotally, we see it in clinic, what actually happens. And you get a lot of calorie creep in those evening hours. In fact, we were reading that it's about 500 excess calories that people on average get when they just don't stop the clock later at night. So it's not necessarily that they're eating later at night that causes the excess fat gain. It's actually just the fact that they've been eating all day and they're going to get
then they add on. So the eating at night tends to be, in most people, tends to be just a behavioral thing where it's actually more calories that you're consuming.
Yep.
Rather than like, I didn't have dinner, so I'm going to eat a little something late. That timing is different than I ate all my meals and got all my calories, and I'm going to eat 500 more of Lucky Charms at 10:30 p.m.
Yeah,
so that's really why this I think this myth is believable, because it sounds kind of true if you do that, but it's not because of the timing of the calories. It's because when you eat late at night, those calories tend to be extra than your regular.
And really, if you think about also when you're putting those calories in, I mean, the truth is that, you know, you've already eaten calories all day long. I'm assuming you started eating at some point earlier in the day, and now you're adding those calories to it. And what are you doing at nighttime? Most people that have just a traditional schedule, your 9-to-5 job or whatever, I mean, you're traditionally not like doing your workout at 10 o'clock at night. You're not like, so you're really not going to be burning off any additional calories. So you get the excess calories on top of already not burning off calories. So maybe in a way you're like, okay, it doesn't really matter when I eat these calories, but it kind of does, mostly from more of just a practical standpoint.
And to be fair, there is a little bit of nuance to this. There is some evidence that shows the post-meal calorie burn is a little bit slower at night.
Yeah.
Not enough to really make or break this argument.
Yeah.
But a technicality is it's slightly true that you burn a little less after eating late than you do on a daytime meal.
So the practical point here is that oftentimes in clinic, you'll hear it on this podcast, we generally recommend having a time that you cut off about 3 to 4 hours before bed. And that's mostly because if you eat for 16 hours a day, it's going to be very difficult not to have some calorie creep. You're going to probably overdo it on the calories. And unfortunately, what that ends up meaning is that regardless of what time you ate those calories, you're going to have some excess weight gain, or at least if you're trying to lose weight, you're not going to lose any weight. And that's ultimately, if you're losing weight or just even trying to maintain your weight, if you're having that calorie creep, it's going to be a difficult thing to do if you're eating late at night.
Yeah.
So especially the calories late at night, like you said, it's always Lucky Charms,
it's
right?
Extra right.
It's never like
it's never like I'm gonna have a salad.
Yeah, I'm not
at
going
11:30
to the freezer to get the
it's
vegetables out. Yeah, it's never. So once again, this study on its face is true. It's a myth that if you eat late at night, you're going to gain weight. But I mean, come on, you're not eating anything healthy.
So what we're saying is the myth is busted, but it'll make you fat anyway. I guess I'm not supposed to say fat. It'll make you overweight.
Yes,
it'll
when
we talk about that. It will works on your fat cells in your body.
Yep.
But so myth busted, I think, on that. But you have to be careful about what you are eating, and eating late at night tends not to be your best food choices.
Agreed.
All right, myth 2. You can spot reduce fat. For example, I can decrease my belly fat by doing crunches. Right, like the training a body part burns the fat overlying that body part.
Yeah. Well,
are we further getting it?
This is just the one of the biggest myths, and it's been
people wonder this. They're like how many people come in and like, I've been doing crunches to try and get my belly fat.
Yeah. And I don't see like a reduction, and I don't. Yeah. And the hardest thing is because the truth is that you used to hear it kind of even phrased in this way. I think this is applicable. Is I'm going to try to turn this fat into muscle.
Oh yeah.
You remember when people used to say that I can turn fat. Yes. Well, okay. So fat never becomes muscle, or vice versa. The two do not can't turn into each other. Now you can reduce fat and build muscle. And that's great. That's what we're all looking to do. But it's like on its face, this is definitely a myth.
Yeah.
You cannot spot target muscles. Like if I want to have a thinner waist, while working on my core is a good thing in general for losing some excess body fat, you cannot, I don't care how many crutches or sit-ups you do, you cannot specifically trim that fat around your waist by just solely doing like working on your muscles in that area.
Yeah. Now that doesn't mean don't exercise.
Yeah.
Like doing crunches builds and strengthens your core muscles, your abdominal wall, and that's good. And that big muscle set burns energy, and that's what causes it's lipolysis we're talking about. So breakdown of fat, burning fat as energy, that happens body wide. That's like a physiologic process that happens in your body. So you can't pick which fat your body burns. That's actually probably determined more by hormones and by your genetics. I mean, some people just store and burn in specific places more than other people.
Yeah, I know you have some that lose it up top and have it more on bottom. Some really have it up top and get really skinny legs, but they have it more like a thicker torso. And that is the genetic part of this. I mean,
myself and my brothers tend to carry our weight in our belly.
Yeah, in the belly.
And that's probably more common in men.
I think that is more common in men, and then women tend to carry more that pear shaped, like the kind of in their hips and things like that. Sometimes you get the in the arms and stuff like that, which they I get a lot.
But you're not gonna reduce it by exercising that part of the body. Now we do recommend that you exercise and you work the muscles. That's a good thing. And in fact I want to do a whole episode on just that again. So, but you can't preferentially. In fact, there's a study. Let's look at this. A randomized 12-week trial found that an abdominal exercise plus diet group did not lose any more belly fat than the diet only group.
Yep. What is that? 6-packs are made in the kitchen? Is that
yes? They're made in the kitchen. You can't exercise a poor diet.
You can't outwork a bad diet.
Right.
You just can't.
Yeah. Abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym.
So it's true. And so it's not saying don't do your crunches. It's just saying that if you think that you will slim down your stomach by solely doing crunches, you've been misinformed along the way. It's not your fault. It's been out there forever. Just know that that's a myth.
Yep. And reduce overall body fat, reduces body fat everywhere,
or wherever your body tends
to
go.
Your body tends to lose it the most.
Yeah.
I heard people complain about where that is at times.
It is. Well, I know for me and Rick, I think both of us noticed that we lost it in our face, right? We lose
a little bit in our face.
Yeah, we lose it in our face. And I'm like, well, I could keep some on the face if you meant I lost a little in the belly. I know, right? Yeah. But that's just not how it goes.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and how many, I mean, not to be too graphic on our podcast, but how many of the female patients worry because they lose it in their breasts?
Yeah. Yeah. And then not their stomach or their hips. Yeah. And they're like
that's the first thing that goes.
Yeah.
And then I lose the belly and the buttock and the hips a little bit. And that is
we don't make the rules
for some people.
We don't make the rules.
We don't do your physiology.
Yeah, physiology does that. So get mad at your physiology, your genetics.
Yeah.
But truly, it's just we like you said, we're gonna have to dive into another episode with resistance training and all these other things that we'll talk about this.
Yeah, because there's some things I really want to talk. I was just future episodes, but I want to talk about what things we talk about sometimes as clinicians and providers is like we'll say things that I wonder if it means something. Like just the other day, I was thinking we talk about doing exercise, it increases your insulin sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should just do a whole thing on what that even means. Like, what does that mean? Why is that important? What does it do for you? And anyway, so we just drop terms like that sometimes, physiologic terms that I think are helpful to understand, because that's a huge one. I think that
I agree. You start understanding that. I agree. And because insulin and cortisol get a bad rap.
Yeah.
They're actually amazing and necessary in the body. And we just really, frankly, they always get this bad rap, like that, almost like having cortisol or having insulin is a bad thing. It's not. It's actually more of a timing thing.
Yeah.
And we need to, I agree. We need to get into that.
All right. Myth 3. Here we go. Ready? Exercise alone will melt the weight off. If I just hit the gym or run enough, the pounds will come off. I think we just summarized that one on that other little phrase about in the kitchen, not the gym.
Well, I've had so many patients come to the clinic and they are doing the things, which is why it frustrates me when I hear people are like, oh, can't believe people have to, get help losing weight. It's like, just get off the couch, buddy. And I've heard this like really ignorant
Go run,
statements.
yeah,
They
yeah.
are. They're just ignorant statements.
Just get out. Yeah.
I mean,
Don't be
come on, are
lazy.
you lazy? I've met some of my patients I have are the epitome of physical activity. And they just really, though, because they really bought into this myth that is,
I will run more.
I will just work out more.
Yeah.
And they don't, not that they don't work on the diet stuff, but it's just not their primary focus is fueling their body for their workout. And they feel like, well, if I do that, then I'm going to be able to work out and I'm going to get strong and I'm going to shed the pounds. And it's, the problem is it's not that that part is bad. The exercise is fantastic, but study after study after study shows exercise alone, if you can't figure out the diet stuff, you cannot fix this.
Well,
with diet
part of that, I think there's a couple of things
that,
that lead into that as well, becoming kind of the myth that we can bust is that people routinely overestimate calories burned in a workout.
Yep.
And so you can eat them back in minutes. You know, one muffin on the drive home can negate the entire workout you just did at the gym.
Totally.
So it's tough because, you overestimate that. So it's fantastic for health. It helps regulate your appetite. I mean, there's so many benefits of exercise, but it is not the thing that drives this calorie deficit that we're looking for.
It is, and it's actually been stone. I really am.
That's 3.
I know. Jeez. All right. You know, I didn't do my vocal warm-ups before we did this. I mean, I've been talking all day. Geez, I should be able to be good. Maybe that's my problem. The studies do show that maintenance of weight actually is supported by working out. So you're working out already, you get this good solid foundation, you get the diet stuff dialed in, and then when you get to the weight and the size that
like
you're
your target weight, you feel good.
The studies are really clear on it to maintain your weight. Like if you're like for example, the patients that I have that get on a GLP-1 that decide they want to transition off and see how they can hang on their own. We talk about it's so important that they help maintain that weight and size and overall health by exercising. So
so really good to maintain, not as good to obtain the weight.
That's really good. Yes, absolutely.
Those are words that came out clearly.
Those are words. Yes, they are.
I spoke them clearly.
Did you hear that? He made a full sentence without, putting another word there. I'm still working on this whole talking thing. I've only been doing it for 42 years.
That's good. I think that's a good one. Like, exercise is great, but exercise alone is not the
it's not the key for weight loss. It really
weight
isn't.
Loss.
Yep. It's you just know too many patients that have worked too hard at just working out. And as soon as we get the diet dialed in, of course the scale just agrees with them.
Okay. We probably have time for one more.
Yeah.
Myth 4, carbs or whatever, name your macronutrient, are the enemy. Cutting carbs or fat or gluten is what causes fat loss.
Yeah. Sorry, keto folks. We know we're going to get some pushback on this one. We know that carbs in your mind are the enemy. And
so part of the problem with that, so that was a good transition. But like when I say carbs are the enemy, I mean, and you hear that a lot, and you can make good arguments for that. But and your keto people, like the people who are like, I did the keto diet for a month, 30 days, and lost a bunch of weight really quick.
Yeah,
I know of a grand total of 0 people that maintain that.
Me too.
like it's great.
Yeah.
But then you got to come up with something to keep it off because it doesn't stay off. And nobody that I have ever known goes beyond about 30 days.
Even if you can do it for a couple months, I've talked to so many people, and yes, it totally shocks their system, and they end up losing weight, and they after they get through that first period of feeling horrible while they're going into ketosis, they tend to this is so great. Me and Rick, it's no secret, we're going to say it a million times, it is happily ever after for a reason. This is long-term stuff.
It's also healthier ever after.
It is really. So from that standpoint, like carbs are not your enemy. Carbs have a lot of, not just that macronutrient, which is like the carbs, which essentially are like sugar makes glucose in the body, but the nutrients that you can get from a lot of your carb sources. Yeah. Yes, excess carbs in a lot of cases is the enemy, so to speak, mostly because, I mean, we're going to talk more about the insulin sensitivity and all that stuff. But really, if you look at carbs, like you look at all the other macronutrients, and it's a balance, right? You need to get your protein, you need your good fats, and I think that's one of our myths coming up is the fats. You need to get carbs because not only do they have a lot of nutrients, but you can actually stick with that plan. If your plan is to just get rid of all carbs, okay, I'll see you in 2 months. You're going to have lost 20 something, 30 something pounds. And then you're going to go have one bad weekend in Vegas.
Don't throw your old clothes away.
Because it's going to come back, and it always comes back, and it's always 5 or 10 plus extra pounds beyond that. And so it's not that carbs are not your enemy. It is actually finding balance.
Well, and part of the thing is, so if I think, okay, I'm going to go low carb. I mean, what I'm doing, if you think about this, is I'm focusing more on protein, focusing more on whole foods. And honestly, that those are filling items, and you end up eating less overall calories. And that's the point, I think, with that. It's worth noting that refined sugars and sugary drinks, those are easy to consume extra calories. And that's part of the problem, is not just the carbs themselves, but the type of carbs. And if you're eating the sugary stuff and the refined sugars, there's not a lot of nutritional value, but there is a lot of calories. And that's what really the thing we're trying to avoid. So eating kind of a more whole food, protein laden diet, and being cautious about the refined sugars, ultimately you end up eating less calories. And that's the whole point.
Yep. Carbs are just so easy to overeat. And obviously they're, in most cases, especially these, simple carbs, are just usually really tasty. So you get no nutrition. You definitely get that calorie creep we talked about before, where you're like, I thought I probably got in what would be expected 1,800 calories if that's your resting metabolic rate. And you actually ended up getting 2,800 calories because you just didn't realize that one small drink or that one, cookie from, I guess I probably shouldn't say like a name brand cookie, but there's a lot of cookies. Yeah.
Say it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Crumble or
crumble cookies.
I mean, they're delicious.
Crumble cookies are good. You know what though? I can't. I literally, and I don't know if it's because of because I've been more cautious now. Like, what am I? 3.5 years? I've been really, really focusing on what I eat stuff. But like a crumble cookie, I most of them I can't.
It's just too rich.
Well,
right?
It's way too rich for me.
Well, it's rich, but I mean, go eat a quarter one of those, you'd be shocked at the amount of calories. And it's not like this isn't like a slam on them. I think they make a delicious cookie.
It's great.
It's the problem is that frankly, you just don't know that when you eat one of those, you just consumed your calories for the day,
the entire day,
and how much nutritional content is in like nutrients, vitamins. Like, you don't need to. That's just not the way you want to do this. So carbs really aren't the enemy. They're the enemy from a standpoint of if you're overdoing it on the carbs, especially the simple ones, you're not only going to have a difficult time with weight loss because just overconsumption of calories, but it's also you're going to be void nutritionally.
Yeah.
So
so those are some myths.
Yeah,
we've got more. But I think what we got to do is rather than take everyone's time and make this like an hours long episode, we'll cut it, and we will continue this next week. Version 2 of the myth busting dive.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah, there's some other ones I really am excited to get to, and then maybe we get into the insulin stuff. This feels a lot. It feels good to be back talking about this stuff.
Yeah,
not that the hormones wasn't.
No, the hormones are cool. And they're all part of this whole wellness thing, but they're, they're like, our shtick is like, we love this weight loss stuff. We love just the general wellness stuff as well. That's the thing that got us passionate about this. Yeah. The hormones are obviously a huge part of that, but it's I would say that if you were to say our passion is general wellness, but it's like along these lines, maybe even more than the hormones. Now, I particularly love doing like the men's health and men's hormones. That's like I really love that jam along with this because I've just seen the benefits from both. But it's also, I feel like a lot of the stuff that we talk about in terms of this can correct a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like, I just feel like this is like the foundation.
Yeah.
And so I like it. The foundation of stuff.
Yeah. It feels like we're talking about kind of some of these key things that set a baseline of expectations and,
Sure.
and help you make some better choices that are, like I always say, sustainable. So, okay, well, with that, we will bid a fond adieu.
Yeah.
And
see you next week.
And we will be back next week busting more myths.